So one of the questions that most of us normally like to ask is, how long does it really take for one to learn German? I would like us to go ahead and address this particular question, and by the end of this video, I believe you will have a better picture of how long it might really take one or you, for that matter, to learn the German language, right? Now, first of all, I'd like you to consider this. There are a lot of factors to consider when addressing this topic. There's the factor of time, there's the factor of urgency of the certificate required, and then there is also the urgency of motivation, the reason as to why you're doing that particular German language and so on and so on. So these are some of the reasons that we were going to consider when you were going to consider how long it's going to actually take you. Now, normally it is divided into two broad categories. That is the intensive classes and the extensive classes. There is the intensive, from the word intense, right? And then extensive. So the intensive one normally involves you doing it intensively. Like you might find a session going for like 2-3 hours, but those will even go for 4 hours. So you find you're doing it intensively. That's what I mean by the intensive class, right? You might find that that also prefer to go for many hours and not maybe daily. Like you might find they learn Mondays, Fridays, and maybe even on the weekend. And then they do it intensively, 4 hours, 5 hours, right? A session that is intensively. So normally intensively involves you doing a lot of things for a short period of time. And then the extensive classes now involves you doing small bits, like you might find a class going for maybe an hour or even 40 minutes, but this person does it more consistently, like daily. You might find they do it Mondays to Fridays, every single day, right? And then they do it for like an hour, maybe 45 minutes, etc., right? So the intensive, remember, you're doing many things, but for a short period of time. And then extensively, you're doing it like like an hour, but you do it consistently, like daily, all right? So both tend to work for different students and different reasons, right? They also might find that there is a work waiting for them. So they've never learned German, and then there's a work that comes suddenly, come, and they're told, we need to have the certificate within 3 months. So you find they're doing it very quickly, intensively to finish, so that they quickly do and get the certification. And then there are those who've known all along, I want to learn this German, at my own pace, just slowly, and then eventually finish, get the work and so on and so forth, right? So, as I said, both work depending on factors, different factors, right? Now, for me, from the experiences that I've had so far, let's compare these two people. One that is doing it intensively, chasing some fixed date. Maybe you've been told, we want you to finish it. You only have 3 months and go for work. And then this other person B, now is doing it very nicely at a slow pace. Maybe they have time, maybe a year to do, right? So let's compare these two people. This person is supposed to do from A1 to B1, and they've only given the person 3 or 4 months. This person is to do A1 to B1, and he has an entire year. If you do check in the long run, this person B is going to have more advantage compared to person A. Because this person A is doing it with a pressure that I have to finish. If I don't, then... So it's like the person is doing to finish and not to understand. And that's why you find that most of those who've done it intensively, except the outliers, it mostly doesn't stick for long. Because you've done it so quickly, it's like you're doing to finish. But this person B, you're going to realize in the long run, he or she gets to have a long memory of it, all right? It is, as I said, except the outliers. But this person B, who does it very slowly, doesn't rush it, like at their own pace, is able to master longer. So what I'm now trying to say, what is coming out clearly here is the consistency, small bursts of consistency. I'm going to realize consistency always beats, motivation. Have you tried doing something consistently, even on days that you're not motivated? You're going to realize in the long period of time, you're going to appreciate it even more. All right. So whether you do it intensively or extensively, I'm going to share to you that the bottom line is don't do to finish. Most of us normally do the language to finish it. It's like, let me quickly do it. I want to finish and do for work. Instead, you should enjoy that particular process so that by the time you're finished, you are able to use it and not just to learn to finish. because you're going to learn, finish, and then after a year or so, you've completely forgotten everything. That's why I would recommend take it preferably extensive. So if you check the levels, the A1, A2, B1, B2, you're going to realize these levels are also divided depending also on the duration that one has. That also can do A1 for 3 months, that also can do A1 for 6 months, right? Mostly the A1 goes for there's 3 months option and then there's 6 months option. Same thing with the A2, 3 months option, 6 months options. As I said, this also depends with the time that one has. All right. Bottom line, as I told you, both works for different individuals. Now, depending also on your capacity, it's important that also before you begin learning, establish to see what your capacity is. Don't lie to yourself, right? If you're a fast learner, get to note down. If you're also a slow learner, it's important. Many normally pretend and want to fix themselves, but where they are not. All right. I would say, yeah, I'm a slow learner. I prefer to take it slow so that I learn it at as a slow cook. And then those would say, I'm a fast learner, and so on and so forth. Okay. So it's important that you first of all get to establish where where you are at firstly to know your capabilities, so that when you begin the class, you don't try to overcompensate or try to limit your real capabilities, right? Etc. So, guys, those are the factors to consider when you're learning, which determines the duration of the level you're going to take. Is it time? How much time do you have? And I normally say, in consideration to time, try not to do it as a second option. Normally, people normally just give the language when they're learning. They do it as a last resort. Try to find the best opportune time that when you decide to enroll for the classes, you're going to do it without pressure. I normally am not a big fan of doing flexible classes. That is, you're in the morning, then you're in the evening, and then you're Saturday. That brings about inconsistency. And that's why for me, I mostly don't like to offer flexible lessons. I prefer you pick one time slot and then you stick with it consistently, compared to somebody who does it inconsistently, like flexibly. Today you're doing it morning, tomorrow you're doing it afternoon, tomorrow you're doing it on Sunday. No, that makes it a bit inconsistent, and in the long run, one experiences burnout. So in terms of time, find one particular time, whether it's mornings or it's evenings, and then stick with it consistently. Be surprised. In fact, it even helps you. It makes it easier for you to keep track of how you are faring on, right? So that is on time. Number two, also think about is it the motivation and the duration? That's what we were given. Oh, you have to do it within 3 months. So if you're not going to use it somewhere, try and start doing it early on, so that you don't say, yeah, I will start learning once I get an opportunity. Start learning now, so that when it comes, you're already prepared. Remember, when opportunity means preparation, you're so much set. Don't wait for the opportunity to come first and then start preparing yourself. No, start preparing early, so that by the time it comes, you are already more than prepared. Right? etc. So, guys, I hope this has made it much more clearer for you, even as you continue the learning or are considering to begin learning. This has been Lerafet speaking to us. And as I mentioned to us, if you're here and you're looking to enroll for classes, please, I invite you to check our page at Languages Tutors, or you can also email us here if in case you wish to join the classes. With that said and done, let me say, das ist alles für heute, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Cheers.